Hello y'all, and thanks for joining me and welcome. And if this is your first time here, I'm so glad you joined me today. My name is Amy and I'm just gonna dive right on in here. I'm gonna be making a birthday cake for my oldest son. He's turning 5, and so I thought I would just take you along with me and show you how I decorated the cake. So right now I'm just getting the cake board ready for the cake. And this board is always what I use for this size cake, like the sheet pan cake. And it's the perfect size, so I just keep this on hand and then I just cover it with either some freezer paper like I'm doing now, or you can also use like wax paper. The freezer paper is just a little bit thicker, so this just makes it food safe. And I'm just cutting out the corners and getting everything to fit right before we move on. And now we have the cake board done. So now I'm just going to use some wax paper. I need to flip the cake out of the pan. Here we have the cake all baked, cooled, and ready to go. So we are just going to flip it out on this wax paper. And it came out pretty nicely, except that one little edge there, but we'll fix that here in a little bit. So I'm going to put the cake board on top and simply just flip it over and get it centered on the board and take the wax paper off. Then we're just going to take that piece that got stuck in the pan and put it right in there, and you won't know the difference. Now what I'm doing, I'm just putting a thin layer of frosting over the whole cake. This is basically just a crumb coat, just to keep the crumbs at bay when I go to put on the top layer of frosting. So this is just a thin layer. It's not a pretty layer at all. This just helps later on in the decorating. And then once I have this layer on, I'm going to put the cake in the refrigerator for 10-15 minutes, just until the frosting is firmed up. Alright, so now it was in the refrigerator and it's out, it's ready to go, and I'm going to be putting this 5 on the top along with these construction equipment toys. And so first of all, we're just going to draw out the shape of this 5. I'm going to use a knife just to give me a line, just to guide me later on. And so I'm just going to trace that 5. And now I'm going to take a fork and just take the top layer of the cake off where the 5 was. I need this part indented just a little bit for what I'm doing, so I'm just going to take the top layer of the cake off in this shape. And now we're done. There's our 5 and we're ready to go. So now I'm just taking a little bit of frosting and I'm going to be mixing some blue in, just for a little pond there in the corner. I just want to make it look as natural as I can. So we're just going to add in some blue there. And then we're going to make our little pond. And I'm not going to make this perfectly round or anything. I'm just going to make a shape, just kind of go around the corner there, make it look as natural as I can. And then I'm going to just smooth it out. Now I got a little bit of fondant. I got 2 pieces, and the one I'm going to do in a brown and then the other one in green. And what I'm planning on making here is I want to make some cattails to go around the pond. And so the brown is for the top of the cattails, and then the green will be for the leaves. So I'm just mixing in the brown till I get the right color, and then adding in some powdered sugar as I go, just to keep it from getting too sticky. And now I'm working on making the tops of the cattails. I'm just rolling out a piece of the brown. And then I'm just gonna cut them. And this was all just kind of trial and error. If something didn't work out, you know, you can always redo it. And next I'm going to work on the leaves here with the green. And basically how I do these leaves is I just cut out long triangular shapes, if that makes any sense. And then I'm gonna, once I have all this cut, I'm gonna leave these and let them set for a while, let them harden up just a little bit before I place them on the cake. Alright, now that that's done, now here I have some molding chocolate and I'm making some trees. So this is how I did this, and I just molded it around a skewer, and I'm just taking a toothpick and just making marks in it just to where it looks like bark. And I'm just doing it until it looks right, it looks okay to how I want it to look. And then I'm also going to take these sugar cones and make trees with this. This will just be a different shaped tree. So next I mixed up some green frosting, and I'm just going to put that all the way around the edge here and try to just kind of smooth it out as I go. And once that's done, I'm going to take this Wilton icing here, in the green color, and the tip from the same brand, Wilton, and this just screws onto the end here, which is very nice and handy. It's mess free pretty much. And I usually just use this green if I'm using this tip, because basically the only reason is because I don't have a tip like this that works with my other decorator bags, and I like this green color as well. So what I'm doing now, I'm going around the bottom edge of the cake and just making some grass all the way around the perimeter of the cake. And then also around the top here, just around the edge, just to finish it off there. And then after that, I'm going to start with going around this little pond here. And I'm going to do enough layers around this pond so that I can start putting in the cattails and start placing some items. So now is time to place some cattails, and I did put these ends on some toothpicks for the stems. And now I'm just putting in some on this side of the pond. Then I'm going to be placing some of the leaves here. And I did end up adding some toothpicks onto some of the taller leaves just so they would stand up better. The taller leaves kind of wanted to just flop down. And then we're going to add a few on this side of the pond as well. And now it's time for the trees. I put a big marshmallow and a small marshmallow together for the top of the tree, so I'm just putting those on top of those tree trunks that we made. And I put these two marshmallows together with a little bit of frosting in between. It just kind of holds them together until I can get the frosting on. So this is what my decorator bag looks like, and I'm going to use this tip here and just screw it onto the end of the bag here. This coupler is always what I use when decorating. It's so nice to change out the tips if you need to, and you don't need to remove all the frosting and get a new bag. So now I'm just making leaves or the tree tops, and I'm just taking this green, going all the way around the bottom first, and then we'll fill in the top here. This was a little time consuming, but it was well worth it. And there's our first tree all done. And we're just going to put him in right in that one corner there. Then I went ahead and did some more trees and just kind of situated them in there like I wanted them. And now I'm going to do some more grass. Alright, so next we're going to work on the brownie that I made, and this is supposed to look like dirt. I've never used brownies for this part before, and I wouldn't really recommend it either. I should have known better, but brownies are just too sticky. Normally what I would use is like crushed Oreos or something. That works a lot better. But this worked fine. It was just a little bit harder to work with, but it worked out okay in the end. So I'm just putting these brownies in this 5 that we made. Then we're going to put this bulldozer here at the end of the 5 to make it look like it's making the 5 as it's going. And we're just going to fill up the front here to make it look like it's pushing some dirt. And then we're going to keep going with the grass. And this is one of those things that I do a little bit and then I take a break because it really wears out your hand. So next we're going to place this dump truck and this loader, and again fill the dump truck up with dirt or brownies, and also the front end of the loader. And we're going to place another tree in front of the bulldozer. And Jameson, at this point, he was so excited about his birthday cake. He was just watching every move I made. And here I'm just showing you how I did the sugar cone trees, basically just the same way. It's just a different shape of the tree. And you can see in the background just how excited Jameson was. He was just flying around there. He couldn't hold still. He was so excited about his birthday party. Now I'm going to place this tree before I finish all the frosting, so that way I don't get frosting all over the place. And I had something to hold on to while I was doing the piping. And we are done. Here is the finished product. I was happy with how it turned out. And needless to say, so was Jameson. He was so excited and he loved it. So that evening I fixed up a little party for him. Just fixed up some things. His favorite color is orange right now, so we made sure and had some orange decorations. And we had a lot of fun. He had so much fun with his cake, blowing out the candle, and just turning 5. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe got some ideas. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.